We don't do much academically to help students think about religion, though. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's pretty, for most classes, it's pretty much absent. Right? It's just not something you talk about. You can talk about race,
Yeah.
and you can talk about ethnicity, you can talk about gender and sexuality, but you can't talk about religion much.
Most people grow up with a religious influence from family or community. When a lot of students come to college, their religious beliefs are oftentimes challenged, and it is up to them to decide if their faith will thrive or fade away. We talk with students who were raised in different religious environments. Here's what they had to say.
I'm 100% Jewish, yeah. 200% Jewish. Jewish. I grew up in an area with a lot of Jewish people, and I have a big Jewish family, so just growing up in a Jewish background, with a Jewish background, that's where my faith comes from.
Well, my mother was raised by a Jewish family, but they weren't very dedicated to it. Like she was Jewish, but they didn't really do much with it. My dad was raised Catholic, and religion was a bigger deal for his family. My parents got married. My mom converted to Christianity. As I got older, it was mostly, I would say, my senior year. I got involved with my church. I was on a council that helped decide things for the youth group, and I went through kind of a rough time, and without my youth leader, I think I would probably still be in this situation. And so I don't know, I think religion just plays a huge aspect of my life because of the sense of strength and comfort I find from it.
My entire family's Buddhist, so I was raised Buddhist, but my parents were very open about our religion.
Grew up in a Roman Catholic household. Went to private school from 1st through 12th grade, so religion's always been a significant part of my life.
Some students learned about religion from their education and others from their family and community backgrounds. Noticing these trends, we decided to talk to Professor Yoder to see what he had to say on the topic.
In your teens, you usually start out less religious, and you grow more religious as you get older. And there's a variety of reasons for this, but we'll see what you guys do. Right? So you tend to do this upward slope thing. But your generation, we don't know what the slope is yet, but it started at a much lower level of religiosity to begin with. So we'll see what happens when you guys hit your 20s and 30s.
Yeah, it forced you to have a religion class. I guess that's not the best word to put, but you did take a religion class every year, and it helped me learn things that I didn't already know that my parents taught me or I learned at church. So I was able to find new aspects that I didn't know before, better understand and better believe things that I had previously known.
They never forced me into it, so for high school I kind of fell out of touch with my religion, and I wasn't very religious. Mm-hmm. And then I got to college, and I don't know what happened, but I got really religious again. So last year, my freshman year, really changed things.
When you study religion, you're looking at it from the outside in. But when you live a religion, you're looking at it from the inside out. As a teacher, that's the challenge I find it's difficult. Because I do want students to think about religion. And in order to do that in class in a way that's not completely threatening, we try to do it from the outside in. But I realize that as students are sitting in there, it's very difficult for them to do that because they're thinking about, what does this mean for me personally? What does it mean from the inside out?
Science and religion often conflict, so we got the opinion of two Lyman Briggs students along with the opinion of a philosophy professor.
Buddhism is really a philosophy and the way to live your life, and it doesn't really conflict with my science beliefs.
You have to take some things and realize that some are true and some aren't. Biblical truth is different than literal truth, and one of the big things is, last semester I had a class that mainly dealt with evolution, and of course you have the creation story of 7 days versus the evolution over millions of years, and I believe in both, which is, some people find it hard to believe, but I believe that God isn't bound in human times, so that the 7 days that we think of isn't the 7 days that God experiences. So a day for him could be however many millions of years that have actually occurred. So I'm able to firmly believe in both.
So part of the criticism of evolution was, okay, you have some fossil evidence here, but there's all kinds of gaps in the fossil evidence. So the way to explain that jump, God made it happen. The God of the gaps is sort of a pejorative term for arguments which say God must exist because otherwise we can't explain certain things. God just fills in the gaps that are left by a scientific explanation. That's really a problem, because if you look at the course of the last couple hundred years of science, we keep filling in the gaps, which makes the space narrower and narrower for God. And that's part of the reason that religious belief has declined to a certain extent.
We also ask students how religion influences their social lives, daily interactions, and education.
I have a Bible study that I do every Wednesday with Riverview Church, which is awesome, and I've become really great friends with a lot of the people in it. We hang out like outside of the youth group. I don't know, I go to church every Sunday. I usher sometimes. Sometimes they have a live feed from the Holt venue, which is where everyone is, and sometimes we have a speaker.
I've gone to the Hillel, the Jewish, I don't know what to call it. I guess it's like the college Jewish community center, I guess. I've gone there a few times to study and talk to some people. I've meant to go to events, but I really haven't. I did bring my prayer book to school with me, though. Just, it helps sometimes, I guess.
I guess, like most people who are in college, I kind of had this moment where I was looking for some direction in my life, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what was just right, what was good, and just because I was probably raised with that background, I started reading more religious texts, and the more I read about my religion, the more I wanted to practice it, the more I liked the idea behind it, and so that really pushed me to start practicing again.
I feel like it's a shame that it has to wait until your freshman year of college to experience that, though, just because you're already going through so much that now all of a sudden you're questioning your faith and what you believe in.
But if what I was just saying about how difficult it can be to look at religion from the outside in, right, when you're living it from the inside out, that's hard to do at college level. Do you think you'd be ready to do that at 14 or 16?
Just like any other religion, basically my whole moral and ethical beliefs are based on, Jewish lessons.
Through my religion, I found prayer to be an outlet for stress and anxiety, or if I'm angry, it's I find prayer talking to God to be a way to debrief, and I feel like it's someone who doesn't judge me and will love me no matter what. The great thing about Christianity is the fact that Jesus died for your sins. As a Christian, I know there's a bad rep because some people seem to say on paper that they believe one thing, and then through their actions they don't reflect that.
But one of the things I think is underrated, I really like it when I hear that students are involved in not just an on-campus, say, Bible study, but they're actually involved in a church in the community, because then you get intergenerational stuff going on.
The sense of community you get from religion is the most important, and you have a community in college, but it's a rather large community, and you lose your community that you have at home, so it's important to connect to a smaller group of people in college, and it's easy to do that through religion.
All I'm really saying about that is religion is one way to get community. Beyond that, I think, it's really up to the individual. If it's important to an individual, I hope they have opportunities on campus.
We were also interested as to how people incorporated their own personal beliefs with their religious beliefs.
To be a true Christian, you need to grow with your relationship with God over the years. You can't just it's a relationship, just like with a person. With my friends, I'm not gonna just call you up when I'm having trouble. It's a day-to-day thing that you have to work at, which is you have a relationship with God, and so it's a day-to-day thing you work at. So even if you mess up, we mess up with our relationships with our friends, but you talk to them, you work it out, you say you're sorry, you ask them to forgive you, and that's what you do with God too.
like Catholics, or the Catholic Church teaches that gay marriage is wrong, but I believe in gay marriage. I think that women should be able to join the priesthood, but they don't right now. So, I mean, I guess I'm not really challenged about it. It's just something that's different from what I believe, that's different than what the church teaches.
Okay. So I'm Christian, but that doesn't mean I necessarily believe in all the same things that all Christians believe in. Like, for example, I support like gay marriage, even though a lot of people say that's a sin. But I think it's kind of funny because they call homosexuality a sin, yet they sin every day. They lie, swear, they're jealous, they're lustful. And the thing with Christianity is that every sin is equal. So even if homosexuality is a sin, they can't condemn them because of that, because they're just as sinful. They're on the same level.
Everyone has their own personal beliefs. It is up to them whether their beliefs diminish or flourish while they are in college.
This is a way of making decisions. Like, I try to make good decisions because a big part of Buddhism is trying to minimize suffering, and it helps me make decisions that I don't hurt people.
Most other Jews aren't really as Jewish in personality as me. I mean, I guess I don't know. I think my neuroses rub off on people too. Is that a Jewish thing?
Could be.
Life would be really boring if you believed the same thing from 20 to 50.
Think about that.